It is the 13th of December. My wife's secular birthday, and I neglected to wish her happy birthday on the air. It's also the 5th of Tevet, and we have lots to talk about in the second half. We're going to start by talking about the Hebrew language. You know, we had Yoel Gan-Or from Ulpan-Or on the show last week, and he was really, really helpful, both in terms of helping the listeners understand how to learn Hebrew, as well as giving a helpful hint about one of the words, the word being or, light, and all issues related to light, including Ramzor, which is traffic light, and basically a combination of two words, remez and or. And I thought it was so clever that I asked if he would come on a regular basis, and he's going to do that, starting in just a couple of minutes, to give us insight into certain key words, we'll call them, that if a person knows these words, it's going to get them pretty far, because there may be a lot of other words that are connected to this word, like with or. And so he's going to come on in just a couple of minutes to help us understand another word. And I want to thank him in advance for coming on during a vacation, which is very nice. But let's talk for a second first about the importance of learning Hebrew. There are many people who believe in the concept of a soft landing, and there are many people who believe in the concept of throwing yourself right in terms of the Hebrew language. And you can certainly make an argument both ways. However, the bottom line is the same. You've got to learn the language. I'm sorry to say, but for a long time, looking at my own situation, for example, I jumped into work right away, and so I was not able to learn the language right off the bat, and it took me a while. It took me a while in terms of feeling comfortable listening to a rabbi give a shiur. It took me a while to get comfortable reading a newspaper, listening to the radio, participating in business meetings. And again, these are business meetings that took place in English. But remember, there's small talk that takes place in the beginning and at the end of a meeting that will be in Hebrew. And if it's not Hebrew language-wise, it's certainly Israeli as far as the culture is concerned. So understand there are certainly benefits to the soft landing in a place like Beit Shemesh or Ramat Beit Shemesh or Ra'anana or Chashmonaim or Efrat, all these places that are very Anglo-friendly. But remember that ultimately the task of learning Hebrew is going to be there, and you cannot just sweep it under the rug. And so, because of that, it gives me great pleasure that we've integrated Yoel Gan-Or into the show, and I want to welcome him back. Yoel, are you with us?
Yes, good afternoon, Goel. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. How are you?
I'm pretty good, actually on vacation on the Golan Heights. It's very nice here, overlooking the Kinneret.
Sounds beautiful.
Yes.
I don't know if you just heard what I had to say, but it really is true, right? There's no avoiding learning Hebrew, right?
That's right. I believe that learning Hebrew is actually taking part of what's going on in Israel, absorbing not only the language but also the culture, becoming a full member of the society here. You cannot just avoid that.
Okay, so why don't you help our listeners today take another small step toward accomplishing that goal?
Okay, Goel. When we were on the Golan Heights visiting our daughter, the way I could keep up with what's going on in the outside world is bringing my laptop with me, my laptop computer, and I thought that we could elaborate a little bit on the word machshev, which means in Hebrew, computer.
Machshev.
Machshev, yes.
Okay.
It's very interesting that actually the root for that is lachshov, which means to think. And the founder of IBM, Tom Watson, actually almost coined the term or the word to think in his IBM company. He actually said to his people that thinking is more important than doing, or you must think first. Like we say in Kabbalat Shabbat, sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila. So in Hebrew, machshava means thought. If you will machshev, it means a thinker. Okay, so in English you have computer as the word for a machine that does computations, but it does not originate from the word to think. It originates from the word to compute. As IBM do have a model of their laptop computer which is called ThinkPad, so they still use the word think, but in Hebrew it's very interesting that a new word that was invented recently uses an ancient root of to think, lachashov, machshava. So I would like to dwell a little bit on this word machshava. In language, we want to describe thoughts, feelings, actions, objects, and taking the root lachshov, we can see how many things and objects and feelings we can describe using this very root. For instance, lachashov in Hebrew is to think, and using it in a different binyan, in a different verb group, lechashev means to calculate or to compute. And when we say machshev, it means computer, and from the same root, machshevon, it means a calculator. To take it a little bit further, we can use it for the word chashuv, which means important. And another verb group for this very same root, lehachshiv, it means to give account to something, to give respect to something, to consider something. And lehitchashev, using in a totally different verb group, it means to be considerate to a certain situation. So as you can see, we take the very same root, and in different groups, it gets totally different meanings. Another word that we use with the same root is, of course, cheshbon, which means either a bill or a bank account. And another word that we can use a lot of times when we need to get an invoice, we say, אפשר לקבל חשבונית. Can I get an invoice for a certain transaction? So from the same thing, חשבונית.
That's the amazing thing about the Hebrew language. And you've taken one word and basically you've spun 15 different words out of it. It's incredible.
Yes. So I meant to say חשבונית, of course. And an accountant is menahel cheshbonot. So the manager of bills. That's how we say accountant in Hebrew. And ro'eh cheshbon is a CPA. Ro'eh cheshbon. A new word that we have in Hebrew is combining something to deal with communication. Communication in Hebrew is tikshoret, and computerization in Hebrew is michshuv. So we take the word machshev and we turn it into michshuv, and combining these two words together, we get a very machshuv. It means communication and computerization together. So there's actually a new subject that you can study in a university or in Technion, which is called tikshuv. Again, computerization and communication together.
Sounds like you can take a college course on this one word.
You're right. A very popular computer program for accountants is called Hashav Shevet. Every accountant in Israel knows about this program. And, of course, this program also originates itself from the word lachashov or chashav shevet. Another way to say thinking is, of course, using the word chashiva, which means the process of thinking. And, of course, another word that we can say is chashivut, which means important. So you see, in Hebrew, we take one root, and as you said, it spans to so many different directions. It's really unbelievable. So sometimes people think they know a word, but without knowing these nuances, they sometimes, or a lot of times, can miss the whole meaning of conversation with an Israeli.
Absolutely amazing.
Yes. So what we thought actually, Goel, is opening a new section on our website, which will be called Hebrew Insights, which will give people access to what we're talking about in a spoken or audio form. It will be in a text form, so whoever would like to access that can access our site and see it in text form, the various diversive meanings of the same root on our site, Ulpan-Or.com.
That's great. Thank you very, very much for coming on, Yoel. We'll have you again soon, yeah?
Yes. Thank you for having me on your program, Goel.
Terrific. Shabbat shalom to you and enjoy the Golan.
Shabbat shalom to you and to all the listeners.
Okay, bye-bye. Wow. That was unbelievable. Meir, did you know all that? All from the one shoresh, one origin word of chet, shin, vet. Chashov. Amazing. Anyway, we thank Yoel Gan-Or from Ulpan-Or for coming on the show.